not heard on there, I would like to post this on our CCAR website when we're finished. So Thanksgiving and the holiday season itself represents a time that's difficult and challenging for people to maintain their weight, and even people who are actually undergoing weight loss. So there are actually formal studies looking at the effects of weight gain during Thanksgiving and the holiday season in general. And there's two large studies, and the collaborator we work with is David Fields. David Fields is a body composition expert. That means he measures fat mass using something called dual energy X-ray absorptiometry, which has the short name DEXA, which is really an accurate way to get an assessment of body fat. And so he performed some interesting studies. The first study he performed was over the entire holiday season, and then after the holiday season in March sometime he ran a different analysis. So before Thanksgiving, after Christmas, and then another measurement in March or so. And what he found was there was indeed a few kilograms of weight gain during that time. For the most part, the participants lost the weight afterwards, but in March there was still a residual amount of fat mass that was retained. This was the study that we really focused on, which was just a 4-day study before and after Thanksgiving break. So they were measured on the Wednesday before Thanksgiving break and then remeasured again after the Thanksgiving break. The sample size was N equals 94, so that means there were 94 participants that were measured with dual energy X-ray absorptiometry, or accurate way of getting body fat. And in the study, what was interesting is that we can actually back calculate how much energy intake they actually increased by using mathematical models. So we have a mathematical model that links how much you're eating to how much weight gain you actually have. And what we found was that the lean, if you separate out lean people, that means their body mass index is below 25, versus overweight or obese, which is their body mass is over 25, you find a difference in weight gain that's not that much. In fact, you see that it's only about 1.12 kilograms of weight gain in the overweight and obese. That's about 2 pounds. So it's not that much. But the fact that it happened over 4 days is incredible, actually. And so when you use the model to back calculate how much they've changed their intake, you do see an incredible difference between the lean and the overweights and obese. The overweight and obese cohorts are overeating by amount of about 1,000 calories per day over each day of that Thanksgiving break. That's a tremendous amount of calories. And so the way we look at Thanksgiving, and we also have a clinic down the hall, we look at Thanksgiving as a period of prevention to try to encourage our patients to reduce the amount of calories and really think how many calories they're consuming during the Thanksgiving break, so that they don't have to worry about this increase in weight gain over Thanksgiving. So what we decided to do is have our panel of nutrition students first present on how they can reduce the amount of calories during Thanksgiving, but still enjoy Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving is about food. So bringing everybody together and enjoying their meal, yet not having to worry about the calories or think about the calories. And you still have to think about the calories so you can prevent that. And snacking is a huge part of Thanksgiving too. My son reminded me that, we watch football, there's snacks everywhere, so everybody's snacking. So how can you snack but do a swap out? Maybe instead of the nachos, eat something else, so that you are enjoying food with your family, but you're not increasing the amount of calories to the degrees we saw on the previous slide. And finally, we get often asked the question of whether we can burn it off. So two of our pre-med students, Nick and Katerina, are going to present a little bit about, I guess, anti-burn off. They're going to show you that it's actually almost impossible to burn off that many calories. So that's not really the way to go. Prevention's the way to go. So with no further ado, I'm going to give it over to Julian.
My name is Julian Trento. I'm currently student president of CQOR. So let me go on this side to get on to the next slide. So we're going to go a little. I am a nutritionist along with Lucille and Jonathan. We're going to talk about a few of the swap out tips we can do. So the big question we always want to ask ourselves, is the alternative really going to do a good job? Is changing foods really going to decrease the calorie enough to make a huge difference? Now, if you look on the chart we have on there, the right side is what we call the traditional meal, what people usually eat. Their turkey, their gravy, the stuffings they have, and everything else. And we calculate that's about almost 1,000 calories people consume in that one meal. And the average person requires only about 2,000 calories for an entire day, which means that meal alone covers up almost half of everything you need. Uh, with alternatives that we suggest, we have over there, herb roasted turkey, apple cider, different kind of stuffing. You can cut the calories by almost half, as we have down there as only 500 calories. Further studies have shown that some people can eat as much as 4,500 calories on Thanksgiving Day, which is about 2 days worth of calories. Now, to go further into specifics, I'm going to hand it over to my companion, Lucille Tang.
So I'm Lucille Tang, and basically this is what your plate should look like on Thanksgiving night or even Christmas. So try and have at least half of your plate be fruits and vegetables because those are often the lower calorie options. And try 1/4 of grain or mashed potatoes and then 1/4 of protein. So basically choose the lower calorie options when filling your plate. Now, there's also some swaps that we recommend as well. So, for example, you can have, instead of shrimp cocktail, you can have, I'm sorry, instead of coconut shrimp, you can have a really low calorie shrimp cocktail. It doesn't have the breading, it doesn't have the added fat when you deep fry it. The other example would be, instead of having pecan pie, you can have pumpkin pie. Use oatmeal or rice stuffing instead of bread stuffing. Avoid drinking calories. So try having seltzer water or zero calorie mineral water to help you feel full, but don't drink like Coke or Sprite because those are literally drinking empty calories. And the recommended ratio, for example, for sweet potatoes and mashed potatoes, if you don't want to go completely sweet potato, for every for every potato you put in, you can do 2 sweet potatoes instead. And next, we're going to be moving it on to John.
Thank you, Lucille. Hi, how's it going, everybody? My name is Jonathan. So I'm going to be discussing volumizers. Now, one of the big things that over Thanksgiving break that we have a tendency to do is have that feeling of feeling full. But the problem is that we eat so much that we have that kind of like sleepiness that just kind of follows through. One of the biggest things that to kind of volumize your food and to feel more full by cutting the calories too is to volumize. So when in doubt, bulk it out. Certain things that can volumize certain foods, like stuffing, or even appetizers, they're going to be mushrooms, cauliflower, zucchini, squash, eggplant, and even pinto beans. Don't bring your baggage to dinner. So a lot of people around the holidays is a big emotional thing. Oh, I haven't seen you in so long. It's like, how have you been? How are the kids? Oh no, I heard that so and so broke up with so and so. That kind of bit kind of disrupts the whole having a plan going into it. So don't eat while you're emotionally distressed. We have all the tendency as human beings to be kind of eat our sorrows away in a sense. We also don't eat your problems. One of the biggest things that we have a tendency to do also is that when we are discussing with family, to just make sure that you're not only keeping your calories down, but to also maintain the concept of, okay, well, I came in with a plan. I'm not going to just, go for this, go for that. I'm going to actually just think about it and actually just talk it out with the family. As I said before, go in with a plan. So preparation and snack before the attack. So don't go shopping while you're hungry. One of the biggest things for most shoppers is that when you're shopping hungry, you make certain decisions that may not be so great. So if you're craving Oreos, grab an Oreo or maybe a cake or two, and then you realize, oops. Pack healthier snacks such as fresh fruit and nuts. One of the big benefits of going to family functions or get-togethers is bringing like a fruits basket or even snacking on certain hors d'oeuvres, so like a veggie plate. Eat volumized snacks, so actually the things that you're eating now, the canapes, the eggplant, and the croute, that's actually very filling. Eggplant is a replacement for meat, but also volumizes a lot of food as well. Don't go to the big meal hungry. A lot of people see as Thanksgiving to be, I have to make sure that I don't eat, and so I can eat a bigger meal. The only situation or problem is that when you go in, you want to eat every single thing, pile it on. But that's really not necessarily the case. We don't really want to do that. And of course, don't fast on Thanksgiving Day. And of course, hydrate. Sometimes dehydration could be a consideration of hunger. One of the biggest tips that I could give is that you would drink before you eat anything. So drink before you eat the meal and drink after. That only fills your body with more liquid, it also fills out your stomach as well to feel more full. And of course, our recipes. So pump up the volume stuffings. I've done 2 stuffings, as you may have tried over there. One's a vegetarian, and one is one also has meat. Both of them are gluten-free, but what are the biggest replacements? I've replaced the white bread and put in the vegetarian one has rice in it. The one recipes that are given to you, or the ones that you can see, they are consistent of oatmeal in accordance to how much liquid you put in. The oatmeal is, of course, it's a lot. You feel more full, and you're also gonna be. It just lasts. It's longer energy. Roasted eggplant canapes. So as I said before, roasted eggplant is not only filling, but it's also a great filling for not only meat, but it also kind of steers away the hunger, and also kind of just draws back that want of like maybe a dip or I guess a ranch dressing or something, some sort. Nutty compote. So what we have here on the side is going to be an apple compote that is going to be consist of an almond milk. Apple compote consists of coconut sugar. Coconut sugar is going to be less in the more glycemic index, as well as consideration of it's going to keep you lasting a little bit longer because of the creaminess and the apples that are filled throughout. And of course, a pumpkin pie mousse. You are eating air. That's typically what it is. You're going to feel a lot more full. And that's one of the benefits of you can have your sweets, but also volumize the concept of it.
Jonathan, is there sugar in the pumpkin pie mousse?
In the pumpkin pie mousse, there is a bit of the coconut sugar, but most of it is actually consistent of stevia. Okay, so exercise tips. Around the holidays, you're of course around family and friends. So one of the big things we discussed is having the family football game before dinner. Actually working up your appetite, instead of sitting and watching the football game. A family walk post dinner. This I find to be a little more helpful. It not only gives that kind of fresh air aspect after dinner, but it kind of steers away from the concept of I'm going to go back for seconds. Let's instead go out for a walk. If you really want back for seconds, then it comes to that degree. And of course, this day and age, we have everything to social media to, I think, the Wii U. Wii U? Everything from Wii U, Just Dance, DDR, and local gymnastics gym. Most gyms are actually open during the holidays. They do have a tendency to close earlier, but they are open. Gymnastic gyms are big local stipend because of the fact that they actually are open to not only children, but they're open to local families. There that the families can just jump around with their kids and actually sweat enough, you burn a lot of calories and get a cardiovascular workout too. And of course, games. Most kids nowadays are playing video games like there's no tomorrow, but there's certain games such as Just Dance, DDR, as much as the Wii U to really get the person active. So without further ado, we have to have that consideration. Can you really burn off the calories? You can't. Abs are made in the kitchen, not necessarily gym. You cannot outwork a bad diet. You can see either from the triathlete to a bodybuilder, if you do not eat well, keep everything more of a clean eating and lower calories, of course, all your work is going to be for nothing. And to further discuss that, I can move this on to Katerina.
Hi, we are biology students, Nick and Katerina.
Hello.
Go ahead.
Okay. So to further analyze just how exactly exercise plays its role into the holidays, there was a review study conducted that analyzed several studies of aerobic exercise, and what they found was that despite the increase of the exercise that increased their expended energy, the patients in the study weren't exactly losing the weight that they were anticipating. And to figure out why they weren't looking at that, Katrina is going to explain the reasons.
So what has actually caused that? Because of the studies, we have found out that usually people who exercise hard tend to compensate their exercising by eating. So after the experimentation, we found out that it is known that exercise doesn't generally lead to weight loss. And usually to burn out the 1,000 calories that you are gaining during the Thanksgiving day, it takes a lot of time since people even don't realize that they're eating while exercising. and usually take over 3 hours, even on a treadmill, to burn 500 kilocalories per day. So people abnormally make up calorie defects through compensation. So pretty much that's it. And before just having the joy of heavy exercising, you should just realize that maybe you should think about Thanksgiving meal and just have it.
It's difficult to work off extra energy that you intake. Thank you for that presentation. So we focus on more food. If you have any
Are there any
questions about the recipes
You guys
or
have
anything else,
questions?
we're available here for questioning. Jonathan, our food scientist, did cook up all those recipes. If you want any tips from him, he's definitely the man to talk to. You guys have any questions for us?
Yeah, can you like yell at people and make piggy noises? Would that help out?
No, unfortunately, negative feedback.
They call it fat shaming.
Yeah, fat shaming does not work.
It doesn't work. There's recipes. John has put together a recipe book over there for free, and we can take it out. There's also a holiday tip sheet that we can take out that has ways to keep the calories down. We also have told our patients to bring a dish. If they're going to a Thanksgiving dinner, bring the dish. That way they can make some of these great recipes that Jonathan has. They look simple to make and low in calories, which is great. And snacking, we have some snacks here. Instead of the nachos, take Skinny Pop. Skinny Pop, especially in the bags, prepackaged bags, 100 calories. Then you know how much you're taking in, and you can enjoy and munch with everybody else. And it tastes good. And one of the greatest places to get apples is a place called honeycrisp.com. So you can bring the gift. Bring in a bunch of apples. Apples never can hurt you, an apple a day, right? So, and they're really nicely packaged and delicious. And I guess we have some other snacks here that you could offer to bring some snacks, and they're all in the grocery store. Any questions? Mill around and enjoy. Thank you.